Hi, Penny. So you asked me about my book stack. You asked me about books in my book stack, so I'm going to go through them and talk about them. So first, we got John Grisham's The Firm, legal thriller. I first heard about John Grisham through the Just King Things podcast. Cameron and Michael, shout out those guys. Those guys are cool. They're so fun. I love hearing them talk about literature and like the literary conversations throughout the century and different the techniques it's all it's fun, they're fun. But anyway, so I when I first heard about Don Grisham, I was not sure it would be my thing because I like a legal thriller. Like, what are they, just in a like 300 pages of in a courtroom? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is your defendants, and you're please come back and give us an answer. But it's not. I mean, it's like it's a thrill. Like, it's a thriller. Like, it's still it's gonna be. It's still gonna be exciting. It's still gonna be thrilling. And it is. It is because well, it's about this guy, Mitch McDeere. He gets a job at the at a law firm, and there's just all this like intrigue being set up. I'm not too far in yet. You can see I'm just like just a little bit, a little fingertip in. But it's so cool, the intrigue being set up, and I'm excited to see where this goes. Just put that there for now. Okay. Okay. Next we got Sweet Bear by Stephanie Danler, and this is one of those life books. This is one of those books where it's really it's about the story. It's she's a it's autobiographical. There's some semi autobiographical. It's about the author's time as a backwaiter at a big fancy expensive restaurant, and it's about how just it's about life more than like a narrative, really, is what I like about it. That's just the type of book that I really go crazy for. Any book where it's like you're learning about like perspectives or philosophies that people have, or like things that just more about like the human experience, the human condition, all that. I love books like that. Like there's in Search of Lost Time by Proust up there, the gray one. That's cool. I love that one because it's just very like reflective, very like moody, and like just like, this is what it's like to be a human. This is what it's like to be so caught up on the past, and reflecting and such and all that. But so yeah, this is recommend that. Recommend all of these to varying degrees, but yeah. Next I got Capital by Marx. Karl Marx, my man Marx. Not too far into this one, especially like relatively to how long it is. But I mean, it's super cool. It's super interesting to actually like read some theory and such, and like it's one of the big things that I learned so far is how it's Marx formulated capitalism as kind of this like this it's kind of like Ursula K. Le Guin, I believe, said, like, we live in capitalism. Its force seems inescapable, but so did the divine right of kings. Like, it's a human force. Humans can undo it, and Marx even says that like it's inevitable that it will shift to something else. Like, so it will end at some point. Like, and that's I'm not gonna lie. I was very relieved to read that because I mean it makes sense as something to believe in or whatever, but I wasn't sure if that was like something that could be counted on. But I mean, according to old Barky over here, it seems like it's just like inevitable, according to his theory back in the 1800s. So I mean, I'm hoping he called that shot as much as accurately as he called everything else. So it's good. It's good to be reading theory. It's really good. Okay, next we got Fernando Pessoa, The Book of Disquiet, and this one's super cool. It's a lot like the stuff I was talking about with like life stories. It's a lot closer to Proust than Sweet Bear, because it's definitely very moody in the same way. You can tell by the cover. He's all throwing his hands up in despair. He's, oh, woe is me, and that's kind of the vibe. I mean, but it's okay. So it's all these. It's referred to as a factless autobiography. And the way it's set up, it's all these like different like writings, different like there's like the 260, and then like 261 over here, and that one's really short. That one's like super, and then 262 right after it. So it's just all these different like writings about Fernando's just sort of like experience of life. It's kind of like his girl blog. It's doing a little bit of girl blogging. That's what I like about it, I guess. It's reading just that little things, little snippets, little such. It's fun. It's fun. It's moody, but it's fun, and I'm smiling while I read it. Next we got something kind of similar. We got Blackouts by Justin Torres. It's also very like moody. It's so the conceit is, I mean, you can tell there's like blackout poetry and such associated with it. Because I mean the story. Well, so it touches on like homosexuality. It's about like the experience as like a gay man, and there's it's one of, I'm not too far into it yet, but it's just super interesting. It's about it's just like the it takes place in a mental facility, and the it's just very like reflective of like it's reflecting on just like it makes reference of a lot of like studies, like real world like studies of like gay culture and gay like studies and so again, I'm not that far into it, so I can't speak much on it. But it's just super interesting to me. It's super interesting, and I like that use of like the motif of like blackout with like gay culture. Like that's very poignant or whatever. Not poignant. That's, I'm always using that word in wrong places, but it's very like very apt, I suppose. It's very apt and provocative, thought provoking. I don't know. All right. Next. Okay. So I had a Fusicon here. I was told to not learn anything about it before reading it, and I'm going to pass that advice on to you. Okay, then Brian Evenson, Collapse of Horses. That's a little short story collection, and this is super interesting to me. It's one of those. Well, so okay, I'm very obsessed with the idea of what I call dreamishness, which is kind of like this idea of like dreams, the types of dreams that feel very. It's like it's nightmares, I guess, like nightmares, like, but like more in like the way of which I enjoy like the Babadook and such, or like I mean, I read like The House of Leaves, or The House of Dust. I like House of Leaves. That's a good book. But The House of Dust by Noah Broyles last year. And that was an incredibly dreamish book for me. That was like the dreamish book. Okay, because it just has this very like still black and white, eerie, surreal like things are scary without having to be aggressive or vicious or anything, and not even scary, but just like unsettling. Not even. I'm gonna say this, okay? Okay, it's less about being scary and more about being unsettling. Unsettling is the key word. Like this isn't right or something. Like not just like, oh my god, I'm gonna die because of the killer. Just like it's more like like this painting looks like it's gonna kill me or something. Like just it's just like that subtle like dread and like just things that not aren't even necessarily like scary in that same sort of way, but just like So then this Brian Evenson does really good with that sort of stuff because like the title track on here, A Collapse of Horses. That story is about there's this guy who. Okay, so it's kind of about two things. Like it starts out, he's, and this isn't, I'm not gonna get into like spoilers. It's gonna, one thing about it though, there are no spoilers for Brian Evanson's story. It's Brian Evanson will not give you any of the information that you could spoil. It would spoil it if you could spoil a Brian Evanson story. It's not a good Brian Evanson story. Is kind of what I'm picking up from checking them out because nothing gets explained. It's all just, and that's part of it. That's part of what makes it so unsettling. It's the wondering like what. It's just we don't know. But anyway, so the title track here. It's about this guy who his house starts like rearranging itself kind of in subtle ways, including like he has like some kids. He has two kids But like sometimes he wakes up and their bedroom has a third bed in it, and he's got a third kid, and like he can't remember ever not having the kid. But then like the next day he'll wake up and the kid's not there, the bed's not there, and like he can't remember having the kid, and so there's like that sort of stuff going on, and that's like that's one thing that's like, yeah. But then the part that really got to me though, he goes out for a walk. He finds a farm. He finds a farm, and there are horses. There are horses out on the farm, and he sees that they are laying down. They have collapsed, and he is not sure whether they are dead or not. And it's a very surreal scene. But and so he's like, oh my god, like are these it's like he knows there's a farmer. The farmer is over like getting water, facing away from him, and I gotta find the scene because the scene it's like very much like this is worth finding and reading to you because it's oh my gosh, okay, 35 because it's just so like it's the sort of thing where like you wake up and you think back on like your nightmare you had, and it's like it just very like it sticks with you, you know. It's one of those things where it's just um God, like okay, um yes, okay, uh, okay, yeah, um okay, or wait, no, a little more, um okay, yeah, okay, so uh that night might have gone for a long time, even forever, or the equivalent, but then in my walks I stumbled upon, or perhaps was led to, something. It was a paddock. I saw horses lying in the dirt, seemingly dead. They couldn't be dead, could they? I looked to see if I could tell if they were breathing, and found I could not. I could not say honestly if they were dead or alive, and I still cannot say. I noticed a man on the far side of the paddock filling their trough with water, facing away from them, and wondered if he had seen the horses behind him, and if not, when he turned, whether he would be as unsettled as I. Would he approach them and determine they were dead, or would his approach startle them to life? Or had he seen them dead already, and had his mind been unable to take it in? For a moment I waited, but at the time, in the moment, there seemed something more terrible to me about the idea of knowing for certain that the horses were dead than that than there was about not knowing whether they were dead or alive. And so I hastily left, not realizing that to escape a moment of potential discomfort, I was leaving them forever in my head as not quite dead, but in another sense nearly alive. That to leave as I had was to assume the place of the man beside the trough without ever having been without ever being able to turn and learn the truth. It's I think that's just like the thesis point of Brian Evanson, and like maybe more generally like dreamish stuff in general. Just it's the it's more horrifying to to not know that, or it's more, or what, so the line was like, because it's more it's about not knowing like what is going on, like what is happening, and what is the going on. I Because what was it? It was like the exact wording. It was like, because that the sentence just gets me, okay? Because yeah, at the time, in the moment, there seemed something more horrible to me about the idea of knowing for certain that the horses were dead than there were about not knowing whether they were dead or alive, and so I hastily left, not realizing that to escape a moment of potential discomfort, I was leaving them forever. Like, because it's like then you have this like you don't even know like what they you don't even it's God, it's really I really it's one of those things where, I mean, it's such a specific sort of horror, of course, and the specific, it's like horror. It's not something you just like read out on the the porch, or like here like now with all the sunlight like during the days. I can only read these books. I got a few like different horror books like these. I only read them ever at night. I only read my horror books at night because it's like it feels like a waste. It feels like a waste to like a waste of like a perfectly well written scare to experience it during the day when I'm feeling nice and like relaxed, awake, and like people are out, the sun's chirping, all that. But I don't know. Anyway, it's such a Brian Evanson, he's great. Recommend the Collapse of Horses or anything you can get your hands on, really, I suppose. Alright, then I got Your Name Here. I got Your Name Here by Helen DeWitt and Ilya Gridneff. Hope I'm pronouncing that right, Ilya Gridneff. But so it's you can see on the cover. I'll just let you pause and no, it's flipped. Yeah, okay. I'll show you it then. The book is on a table in the bookstore, part of a 3-for-2 offer. You've also been meaning to read Seymour Hersh's Chain of Command, and this too is in the 3-for-2 deal. They've got Gravity's Rainbow by the notorious recluse Thomas Pynchon, Mao 2 by DeLillo, The Border Trilogy by McCarthy, The Catcher in the Rye by Salinger, Notorious Recluses to a Man. They got The Loser, a novel about the notorious recluse Glenn Gould by the notorious misanthrope Thomas Bernhardt. They got Lottery Land by the notorious recluse misanthrope Zazanian. You feel surly and uncommunicative. You hate your fellow man. Reclusiveness and misanthropy could be the hair of the dog. They've also got Helena DeWitt's and Ilya Gridneff's new book, Your Name Here. It's super. It's one of those, it feels like disingenuous to call it like a House of Leaves, but like it kind of like is, I mean, it's like just there's, it's not quite like in the different like directions of text or such, but just like there's, like email snippets or like images and different like things going on, and it's, of course, like as you could tell from here, it's like very, meta, self-referential, metatextual, all those sorts of words. And I love books that get all, all funky like that. It's so much fun. It also reads very fast. I read like the first 40 pages like really, really fast in like an hour or something, and then I just I book hopped away from it, which is unfortunate. But at least that means that I had book hopped back to another book, So, alright, then we got I'll finish up the stack first. I'll move on to the second one there. So The Good House by Tananarive. Tananarive do. I don't know. I'm sorry, but I'm really into Southern Gothic like haunted house stories. And this, I don't think this isn't Southern. It's not Southern. It's like West Coast. But anyway, it's still the same sort of vibe you get. So it's just one of those. It's one of, so Gothic fiction. A big big staple of it is the concept of like the cycles of abuse, or cycles of trauma, cycles of these things, which especially, I mean, it works especially well with Southern Gothic because I mean, just like racial tensions and such. And this is this is one of those books. It's about it's about race. It's about because it's about this black family who that I feel I'm so many of these books I'm like oh, it's so cool, but I'm like not that far into it. But I don't know, it's just super cool though. It's super neat, and I'm excited for when it's gonna get real scary. It's already been a little bit scary so far. It's already been a little bit foreboding and such, but we're still setting up the characters mostly, so but we'll get there, and it's gonna be great, I'm sure. I'm excited. Okay, then we got Edge by Koji Suzuki. And this one is interesting because it's about, so it's a horror novel. It's like math horror. It's they discover like a digit of pi, changed, or like that when a team of American scientists test new computer hardware by calculating the value of pi into the deep decimals, the figures begin to repeat a pattern where there ought to be none. So it's like this, like something fundamental about the universe changed, and I'm so excited to see where it goes, because I mean the idea of that turning into like horror, I could see that going in like a thriller direction, like it could be like a thriller, like oh my god, what's going on, and like can we fix this, or like what's, I don't know, I'm excited to get further into it again. I mean it's but Okay, so actually, I'm gonna scoot these on over. Scoot these on over, and then there's that view with some of them towards the top there. Okay, so we got the New York trilogy by Paul Auster. Auster, yeah. And this one is super neat. It's about, so it's like a detective. It's about like detective fiction. It's like a sort of like deconstruction of detective fiction, like noir stuff from like the 40s. And it's postmodern in the sense that it's all about like how we can't be sure of things. There are no like facts, and there are no like there's no objective truths, and there's no objective representation or observation or anything, and kind of like identity stuff, or like just the slippage of reality and such, in the way that things cannot be certain. And that's I mean, I just it's got this tone to it, this I mean, like the kind of like the 40s noir tone, where it's like very like, oh, and I walked into the door and there was the woman, and it's very very cool. It's very it's very, it's one of those. Lately I've been getting into I've been getting into annotating my books. I'm getting into, I really, it's fun to, it really feels like playing video games with the book or something. Like you're like, I mean, it feels like it's interactive. You're interacting with the book in a way which it feels like very strangely effective, or strangely like, I don't know, just interesting and useful, and like it really feels like I don't know, it's great. So, but then I'm doing that with this, and it's not that there's like much to show or anything really, but I don't know, it's just super neat to finally be doing that, and this is incidentally just one of the books that I've been doing that with lately, like just marking down points of I'm marking down like points where it touches on those themes, because it's very interesting to me, like themes of not being able to be sure of things that you see, or like things being because I think about stuff I've always been thinking about, or I have like um just I have thoughts about things and stuff, and I don't know, it's just interesting to see things put in a book like this, and it's super fun, and I like it. I like books. Um, Alright, next we got John Steinbeck, Travels with Charlie, In Search of America. This one's it's so it was published in like the 60s. The 60s. It was yeah, 60 61, 62, early 60s. So it's John Steinbeck of Mice and Men, Grapes of Wrath, all that stuff. East of Eden and such. He's traveling with, it's nonfiction. It's about he's traveling with Charlie, his puppy, his little puppy right there. Um, there's John. There's Mr. Steinbeck, Mr. Beck. So it's fun to, again, it's kind of like just one of those life books. It's about he's just like, he's reflecting on things he sees, things he's thinking about, stuff like that, and it's just super interesting. It's super neat to get like a perspective like that from especially from someone like almost a century away, like I mean like over half a century away. I mean it's just super neat to like experience a different time like that. I love like the Beat Generation, On the Road, and Jack Kerouac, Burroughs, mostly them too. Um, but I love like reading books where I can experience like what life was like back in like the early to mid century, early to mid 20th century, where we like had like consumerism was like creeping in. We had like you could go out and buy some Coke or whatever, buy like some Coke, buy a little toy set for your kid that has like uranium in it or whatever. Um, making radioactive plutoniums and whatever. Um, but yeah, so it's you have like this like culture, this like society that's more, it's less of like the post medieval stuff really, because I mean in like because like the Enlightenment of like the 17 and 1800s, that was of course like the big turning point of society, or that was where we went from like being um a medieval like monks and peasants and stuff, and then like going towards like I don't know, like democracies and stuff, and like becoming more kind of a humanist. Humanism is really what it's all about. It's the shifts towards humanism, and consumerism is a lot to do with coming in after that. So like once you get through like the 1800s, where like things are sort of shaping up towards that, people are definitely people are definitely like hella religious in the 1800s, but they're not like I don't know, but then like that, so of course, but then so by the 1910s, 1930s, 1950s, like you have, I mean, you have like popular music is happening, you have like the radio, you have TV going on, so society is just becoming sort of more, a little more lax, a little piece by piece. Like you had the flappers in the 20s, I mean, that's a big, point of like progression, of societal progression. You had these women, dressing all freaky, all crazy. But it's just, you didn't have like postmodernism. Yeah, you didn't have like, the irony of like modern day. You didn't have like like capitalism had not yet reached like the big monster that it would become later, by like, the 80s, 90s, 2000s and such. Um, so like people were like less connected, less I don't know. I'm honestly probably prescribed. I'm being too I don't know, idealistic or something maybe. Like I don't know. I wasn't really there, but it's just interesting. It's interesting to hear about John's like perspectives and like his thoughts and stuff. And like I disagree with some of them, which it's that's to be expected, and that's but it's still just like interesting to because I mean some things are nice, and it's just it's nice to or something like some things I do agree with, and some things are it's nice, and he has like generally like a good world. I mean he wrote like the Grapes of Wrath, like he was like he was writing about like social issues. He was doing that social realism, he was doing that 1930s social realism. So he was very much it's not like reading like Ayn Rand or something where it's um, so it's cool. It's cool to read about like a different person's perspective. It's cool to read about people who you don't even like fully agree with, but you can still like see eye to eye with them, and you can learn about their perceptions of 1950s 60s society and such. So yeah, it's fun. Um, Okay, and then yeah, speaking of which, similar sort of book, The Bonfire of the Vanities by Tom Wolfe. So this is one of the rare cases where book hopping is not so much of an issue because it's a very gripping book for me. It's very well, okay. So for one thing, I love the way that I love the like texture of the cup. This has nothing to do with like the I don't know. I really like the texture. I like how like easy it flips, and like it's kind of like a grainy sort of feel to it. It has just a very unique feel to it. This is why I like having books. This is why I don't like like EPUBs and PDFs and such. In addition to, I get distracted when I'm on a device. I could be going online. I could be going online. I could be playing games, or I don't know, YouTube or something right now. So it's like I don't like that. But also, I don't like that you can't like hold books and you can't like feel how they, they all wobble. Like that is a satisfyingly, flimsy book. Like that's got some satisfying flims to it. But okay, that aside, it's really gripping. It's really gripping. I've been reading it really fast. I've been sticking with it. It's super interesting. It's about 1987 New York, which so it's about like the racial tensions, the contradictions between like white New York and black New York, Harlem and the Bronx and such, and it's just it's very interesting to get a gauge on this because it's okay. So I'm a big fan of Dahlgren, my man Samuel R. Delaney, and it's the thing is it's the same book. It's the same book except 87, 75, which so they're both these like post civil rights movement era examinations of like American racism and like the structural forces and the social structural forces that keep people down, and the way that I just it's very interesting. I love again it's like it goes along with like life books and the philosophical stuff. I love books that I love it when like a novel, like a fiction story, sort of teaches me like perspectives on things about like the real world. I mean, I don't like genre fiction because aside from like horror and thrillers, which those are like exciting. Um, I mean, I guess like all I guess it's also speaks science fiction and fantasy. I don't like how they are very. I mean, by their nature, I guess the thing is just that they are very ungrounded in like society in like real, not society, but like in the real like our world here. Um, I mean, the, so I don't I love books like this. Is what I'm trying to say. I don't know. Um, it's super fun, super fun, super fun. Love you, Tom Wolfe. It's interesting because Tom Wolfe. I initially my first brush with him when I was 22. I read the Kool Aid acid, the electric acid Kool Aid tests. So he was riding around with Ken Kesey and the Merry Pranksters on their bus further, in like 1964, 1965. They were doing some acid. They were doing their electric Kool-Aid acid tests. This was all going on back then. They were doing just all sorts of crazy like hippie stuff. It was like peak hippie era. Um, Especially in that era before the era before before it got kind of co-opted by like mainstream society, when it was like kind of still counterculture, because like by like 68, 69, it's like it's flower power is like being sold back to you. um but like 64, 65, a little bit, that's where it's like, I mean, you don't really have like psych rock going on yet. You don't have like rock going on yet. You have like you got your rock and roll still, of course. You still got that going on. But there's I mean, it's an interesting time, in my opinion. I'm interested in kind of this that era, but before you had kind of the music that people still listen to a lot today. Like, cause all you had like folk rock, you had like blues and stuff, which all rolls to the right people and such. But just it still is a very distinct time in history before things like really blew up, really. So these guys were like on the cutting edge of all that, and um so that was just a super neat book to read. But the thing is, I sort of thought of Tom Wolfe as like Ken Kesey's bitch. I I don't know. I feel bad because like I didn't really respect him. Um, because he felt like kind of I don't know. It was I don't know. It feels mean when I say it out loud, and it was, but whatever. It's just interesting to sort of get to know him better, to get to know Tom Wolfe better. As like a writer with teeth, because he had the thing is it's that he really, because I mean in the the introduction for this book for Bonfire, um it's by Taffy Brodesser Ackner. Ackner. So it just it's mentions how there's the he was very much like he was ruffling the feathers of like the Regency, of like the establishment's authors, um, and I still have yet to sort of explore what that means more. But it's interesting to me that he had like bite to him, and I can appreciate him a lot more for that. Not that getting into the weeds, but anyway, it's a good book. It's a good book, and I think Tom is cool. Um, all right, then we got another bullshit night in Suck City. Another bullshit night in Suck City by Nick Flynn. So now this one is another life book. This one I'm actually like recently through. I'm like getting like halfway there almost. That's nice to see for once. So it's about so Nick Flynn. It's all about, it's a memoir. It's a memoir. It's Nick Flynn. It's about his deadbeat like alcoholic dad, and his experience, sort of like his thoughts and like experience growing up. Sort of having to contend with the fact that like his father is, this like deadbeat low life sort of individual, and it's just very like it's one of those just very like, I don't know. I just and part of it that really interests me is how it's just it's about like the 70s too. It's also about the 70s. It mentions just these little like these political things that happen, things that I didn't even know about. Like there's oh there was yeah, like there's, I forget like the specifics, but like some high profile figure's daughter got like tangled up with like a radical group, and like she started like professing stuff that she started like professing for them, and then she ended up like dying by like their hands, or she killed herself, or she like cops shot her when she like robbed a bank or something. I don't want to say too much wrong stuff, but I don't know. It's just it's super neat. It's super neat to learn stuff about the world, about the the 20th century. I'm so into learning about the 20th century because it really such a different country, especially since like a few years ago, we have really truly like launched into like this like 21st century sort of like turmoil, um, and it's just been like so what brave new world, right? Scary new world. Um, but so yeah, I love like grounded books. I love grounding books that just are about how to stay afloat with all that, I suppose. Um, okay, next we got Casey McQuiston's One Last Stop. This a friend recommended it to me. Gave it to me. This is her copy. She gave it to me. This was very nice for that. Thank you, Rose. Hi, thank you if you're watching this. Hi, I love you. Um, so One Last Stop. This is another book that is also another book that I've read before because um I've read it. I was reading Tales of the City by Armistead Maupin. It's about like late '70s, early '80s, San Fran hippie gay people, and it's this is like that, but in like the 2010s or such. I suppose is that I feel like it could be what when is I'm curious now. I'm just curious for my own sake. 2021. Okay, so it's within the decade, yeah. But so yeah, it's just it's cool to I don't know, it's fun. I'm not that far into it yet. I just started it like last week. I'm on page 13. But it's fun to get back to that sort of book, especially considering like most of the stuff that I read is like darker, more moodier and a bunch of horror thrillers stuff. Um, but so I just yeah, it's neat to be reading another Tales of the City. It's a lot of fun. Um, then we got okay. This one's a little contentious because okay, so Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance by Robert M. Persig. I okay, so I first heard about this from like a book, or it was an article online about like something about I think it was like the most boring books of the '70s, or no. It was about like the most well known, the most notorious books of the '70s, and someone was like reviewing them or something, and the person writing the article did not like this one. Very, very, very boring and didn't say anything, apparently, is what they were saying, and I took that to mean, oh, this will be super interesting for me. Um, so I picked it up, I saw it at the bookstore, I was like, hey, let's grab that. And, not too far into it, I'm not even gonna bother saying it anymore, maybe, I don't know, it's just, whatever. But okay, so recently, I started up again, and I mentioned it on my blog, and someone was basically someone said something. A couple people were like saying it's not very good. They didn't like it. So then I kind of got into a rabbit hole. I went online. I looked up some more like reviews of it. I looked up on like Storygraph the reviews from like each like star rating, and it kind of seems like it just is kind of like a nothing book. I mean, I still have it in my stack because that's just I just put stuff there when I'm done with them, but I might drop this one honestly. I don't want to like give up on it because of what other people say. I want to like try it on my own but I don't know if I'll get back to it though. I don't know. I got other books that I have more faith in. I don't know. I don't know. I start throwing those books on the floor because I'm running out of room. Okay, Annihilation. Annihilation, Jeff Vandermeer. This is one of those like Tumblr core books. Okay, and I'm like so close to being done with it. The thing about book hopping, there's no rhyme or reason to it. Okay, like I could easily finish this like today. I could just go and finish it today. Like I could just finish it, come back in like half an hour or something, maybe an hour at the most. Because I have like 30 pages left. 30 pages. I mean that's it. And it's like it's right at the end. It's like the climax. Things are it's like I should if I was like a logical person, I would have finished. I would have finished this. This book would not be in the video right now because it would be like just on like one of my bookshelves, like over there, like downstairs or something. Um, yeah, as it is, I have not finished it, but it is very cool. It's very exciting. It's very wonderfully just strange and weird. And I don't want to spoil anything, of course, really. But I do want to say the album "A Day in Belle Brute," that's Bruit, "A Day in Belle Brute," Bilbruit, by "A Day in Belle Brute" by I forget who made the album, but it's this like ambient like tape like field recording ambient stuff. It's like very like it's a very like freaky sort of album. Really, it's like a freaky album, and everything about it just matches up so well with Annihilation. It's like it's freaky. It's freaky beyond just being like musically like a freaky album. Because like I mean, you'll see if you read the book and you go look at like the song names and like the album art and and just the vibe you just listen to it and read the book, the vibe, it just fits so well. Just like the freaky like the natural horror of it like um I mean I can spoil a little bit. It's not even spoilers this thing, but just like there's part of the in here there's like an abandoned village that the main character comes across, um and like it very much mirrors the cover art, the album art cover art, because that's also like it's literally it's because the thing is literally like one of the songs is theme for Abandoned Village. Like it's literally just music for Annihilation. Like I don't it's so crazy. It's so crazy. And then like I just want it. There's like a couple other song names that match up really weirdly well. It's super cool. It's super neat. It's super crazy. Um, yeah, Annihilation. It's a good book. Everybody is right about Annihilation. Um, I have the next one, Authority, over there on the bookshelf. I'm excited to get to that one once I finish this because yeah, I'm excited to see like what a sequel to this book even looks like. It's super intriguing to me. Okay, so then we got Rabbit Run by John Updike, who so he's one of the establishment authors of the 20th century. He's one of the big he also gets talked about on Just King Things, Karen and Michael, um, and he's it's I don't need to say it. Um, it's just neat to see this guy sort of experience things. Like I'm not that far into it. I don't know much yet, but it's I don't know. It's neat. It's neat mid-century neat mid-century setting and okay. Pen Pal, Pen Pal by Dathan Arbeck. This one. Okay, let me tell you about Pen Pal. Let me let me tell you about Pen Pal. So this book is like I have described it as like if doom scrolling was paranoia scrolling because you just keep having to flip the page. You keep having to flip the page, and like every time the thing about the way the book is structured, the way the book is structured, the way the story is structured is like every now and then there's like a new setup, like a kind of contrived feeling sort of like setup, like where they like sort of set up like a constraint on the situation at hand. Um, and then later, that constraint will turn out to be a Chekhov's gun that will fire off huge style. So this book is just a series of like, kind of like setups and releases of all these like Chekhov's guns, where it's like they'll set up like I mean, so just as like an example, the main character is in a crawl space, and it gets scary, but you can't leave the crawl space because the panel was replaced for a very logical and previously worked out reason, which makes sense that they would do that, and now the situation is made scarier for it. So it's just super. It's like always just this like you can see what he's doing, and to me at first it seemed kind of like clunky and mechanical, but I think it's just fun. Like it's a fun because this originally started out it as I understand it I came to learn after I'd started it and like I talked about it on my blog. It started out it was a Reddit like on r/no sleep or something I suppose. A Redditor just wrote this, so it kind of makes more sense with that as the context to think about like the structure that it does with that sort of thing because it's just like it's fun because it's like he's just it's a little like cute. It's a little cute because he's like, oh, haha, like it was a little like a mustache twirling villain. Like, oh, haha, here's my dastardly setup to this scare that's gonna happen later. And I'm like, ooh, okay, yay. I'm excited to see what happens next. That's gonna make me so freaked out that I can't move, and I'm scared to look out the window because it's nighttime when I'm reading this, and it's about this kid who is slowly realizing that a guy is stalking him. He's like like a 10-year-old, and there's just this guy like stalking him, and so it's about like him slowly realizing that, and there's just these like revelations of new like information and like implications that change like context and stuff, and just these like all these like second shoes dropping, um, um, so it's just it's such an atmosphere. It is such an atmosphere. It's I was talking about how it's fun with the way it's set up and stuff, but the story itself, it's like a duality with that, and then also it's just so gripping and freaky. It's so freaky. It's like it's kind of like a cursed item in my bedroom here. Like it's I'll notice it like in my book stack here, and it feels like it shouldn't be so like so out in the open. Like I should be like locking this in like a crate down in the basement while I'm not reading it. Like that's how it feels. That's honestly how it really feels because it has such an energy to it. It has such an atmosphere, unlike anything else. It just feels like it gives me the same mental like shape, mental feel as when when like I just like an album has like just like a music style that I don't like going on with it. Like it's got like or like a metal album with like scary vocals or something, where it's like this is just something that I should be avoiding. This is something that for my own like sake I should be avoiding. Um, it's just something else. It truly is just something else. There's all other books, and then there's a second category of book which only has this book in it. So that's what I'm saying. Um, Alright, then we got Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil by John Brent. And this one is this is about a savannah. It's like classified as true crime. It's about these people in Savannah, Georgia, and I'm not really sure. Again, not that far into it, but it's super neat. It's just about kind of this zeitgeist of like these people who it's like these old folks with like their secrets and stuff, and you like learn about like this town where there's people who are they've got backgrounds and they got secrets and they got like things going on underneath the covers, underneath the behind the walls. Yeah, so it's fun. It's cool. It's a great atmosphere. It's great. It's a lot of fun. All right, down to our last two books. And the first one here I got is Devil House, John Darnielle. It's another like Tumblr core. This is John Darnielle of the Mouse and Goats. You might know him. I don't listen to Mouse and Goats personally, but whenever I mention this, everyone's like, "Oh my god, John Darnielle jump scare." So it's cool because it's the quote here, the hype here is right there. It says, "It's never quite the book you think it is. It's better." And it's a little bit experimental. I mean, it's got kind of like this structure going on where like first it's about like it's like a it's frame story sort of thing because like I'm not. I mean, I'm not far enough. I'm a lot further through into this one than like most of the other ones that I've shared with you today. But I mean, it still has not revealed all its secrets to me, not by far. So I can't really say much about it. And I wouldn't, even if I knew the secrets, I wouldn't say anything that I don't already know now, because it's just one of those books. It reveals things to you. It's, yeah, very much the opposite of like of Proust and such. Just a lot of fun, just super cool. I think it's so interesting how just like he's doing Mouse and Goats, but then he also has time for this and then like some other books. He has like a few different books, like a whole big handful of books. And that's just super interesting to me because like I know like John Lennon did a couple little books in like '65 while he's with the Beatles, and that was kind of the only like musician book thing that like I knew about. I think like someone like a musician writing a book at the same time as they were in a band, which because that was something that I was interested in because I ended up trying out those books, those John Lennon books, because I was interested. This was I was 19. I learned about progressive rock, and I had also been reading House of Leaves. I had found House of Leaves when I was 18. So I was reading that at the same time as getting into progressive rock. So I was like, okay, is there are there any progressive rock musicians who have written like experimental novels? I guess like someone who takes that same approach to both their rock music, their big long suites with their crazy different instrumentation and different like sections of the song with different things going on and such, and then like a book which is a book which has like crazy typeface going all sorts of ways and different like shapes and stuff, and I couldn't find anything like that except for John Lennon had like these books where definitely like a lot less involved than a Devil House, because they are sort of just like these just kind of like silly little like just like some drawings and like some like poems and stuff, and it's like very tongue in cheek and like humorous and silly, and it's good for what it is. It's good for what it is, but it's definitely not like what I was looking for initially. But this is honestly kind of like this is like what I this is sort of the sort of thing that I was looking for, I suppose, right? This is and I mean he's not like a progressive rock musician. But, he doesn't come from like a musical experimentation background. Well, as far as not overtly at least, like a genre that is literally called progressive rock. Maybe I mean again, I don't listen to the Mountain Goats. I don't listen to folk, indie folk rock stuff, John Darnielle stuff. But anyway, it's a super cool book. I love just experimental books like this a lot. Alright, and then for our last book, we got Vegas. Vegas, a memoir of a dark season by John Gregory Dunne, who he was the husband of Joan Didion, who wrote Play It As It Lays, different like I think poetry. I think she wrote poetry. Um, and the funny thing is that I don't know much about her, despite she is apparently the more well known of these two, which I feel like that's it's cool to see that. It's cool to see, the wife being the one who everyone knows, and then John Gregory Dunn, like this, he's not known. Nobody knows him. Like he's not one of those big names like like Hunter S. Thompson or such of like writing similar things here, like same era, same conceit basically. Like just you're in Vegas, you're in Las Vegas, and it's really crazy, it's really scary. It's you're all looking around, all suspicious, you're all freaked out. It's all dark season, and I love books like I loved Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I love Hunter S. Thompson. I love just books. I love Charles Bukowski. I love just kind of on the along with like the Beat Generation of like the 50s and Steinbeck, the early 20th century. Like I love 70s stuff too. I love like the 70s sort of like deadbeat guy character, sort of like or like I've been reading like A Scanner Darkly is also a little bit like that. So yeah, I love books like that. I love books like just about like a guy or something, or just like about the girl. I mean, I just love any books that are about like character studies. I guess I love character studies. But yeah, well, that's all my books in my book stack. Um, yeah. Thanks for asking, Penny, and thanks for anyone else who watched all of this. Thanks for anyone who watched any of it, even though you're not watching this part, I guess. But I had a lot of fun getting to talk about all my books. This is like it's been almost an hour. That's really crazy. I did not expect this to take 53, 54 minutes. But yeah, it was great, and yeah, books rule. Thanks for books.